Welcome back to video 3 of Fat Loss Made Simple. The whole goal of this series is to kind of get rid of a lot of the noise around fat loss and focus on the things that matter most. If you're watching this video, it kind of assumes that you've watched video 1 and video 2, which we're talking about the food choices matter, so basically eating more nutritious foods, and video 2 was about energy balance or how many calories you need for fat loss. If you haven't watched those videos, go back and watch them. They kind of lay the groundwork and the framework for what we're doing in this video. Here we're going to talk about calculating your macros. More specifically, we're going to talk about the power of protein, in which this is kind of like one of the more important macronutrients when it comes to fat loss, because it's going to help us with satiety, which is feeling satisfied. You're going to burn more of these calories just through digestion, and they're going to help you recover better between workouts, and there's also a host of other benefits beyond that. So how many grams of protein should I be consuming, bro? We are aiming for 0.8 to 1 gram of protein of your goal body weight. So if your goal body weight is 150 pounds, you just take that number times 0.8 to 1. That would figure out to be 120 to 150 grams of protein per day. So if you're currently consuming 60 grams of protein and your goal is 150, don't freak out. I would just take it step by step, where you're focusing on how do I get from 60 a day to 80 consistently. And then once you get to 80, maybe how do I get to 100 consistently? The number one priority with everything in this series is sustainability and factoring in your lifestyle. Some of those sources of protein can be found through our More versus Less Nutritious PDF that's on rapidfitnessonline.com. Now, what about the other macronutrients, fat and carbohydrate? Now, when they compare studies where you equate calories and you equate protein, meaning you're consuming the same amount of protein and calories in both diets, and one diet is high fat, low carb, and the other diet is high carb, low fat, they found that fat loss is identical. What this means for you is you get to kind of choose what diet suits your lifestyle the best and what you're most likely to adhere to. For somebody who's consuming more of a higher carbohydrate diet, that might be more vegetarian, that's filled with tons and tons of vegetables. You get a lot of food volume, so you can eat tons and tons of voluminous foods. Other people might enjoy consuming foods that are a little bit higher in fat, maybe more with beef, or you're throwing more queso on your tacos. That's going to allow you to do a little bit more of that, or you could be somewhere in between. There's no right or wrong answer here. You get to choose what you're most likely to adhere to. Again, I'm going to hammer that calories are most important, protein second most important, and fat and carbohydrate, you get to kind of choose what is going to be most accommodating for your lifestyle. Now, with that being said, I'm going to kick it right back to video 1, where yes, you get to pick your carbohydrate and fat sources, but I would encourage you to consider the food choices you're making for more nutritious choices, because those will fill you up better, and you're going to probably burn more of those foods through digestion, and they're probably going to be more voluminous and more likely to fill you up as well. A good rule again is 80-20. 80% of your foods are a bit more nutritious on that More versus Less Nutritious PDF, and 20% is kind of like, hey, those are my lifestyle foods. I like to kind of relax on the weekends and maybe have a beer and a donut. That's okay, just so long as you're not having 10 donuts and 10 beers. And that is it for calculating your macros. I'll do more videos that go more into depth as far as like figuring out exact grams and things like that. But at the end of the day, those fat and carbohydrates become a little bit more negligible, assuming that you're consuming healthier foods in general. So that's your video 3, and how you calculate your macros. We will see you in the next video.